once again, thank you for being here.
My brother, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure with you.
Absolutely. You were just telling me about how crazy your week's been and the collaborations you're going to start.
Yeah. So, since we met over the past 2 weeks, I did a short film last week, and like I told you about, this past Saturday, I had a photo shoot. I've been creating with content creators, for social media, create some comical content,
Oh, you're doing comedy too? Or like?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Nice.
I'm an actor, voiceover artist. I do music. So truly, I'm rounded in the arts. I'm a fan. I'm a student. And, I'm a jack of all and master of all.
Nice. Do you do stand open mics and stuff?
I have not yet. I've actually done open mic before, for poetry, a long time ago. And I actually want to get back into that soon for poetry, even with music as well, because I've been taking singing classes for the past year. So I've really been expanding my instrument with that as well. So I'd love to get into that soon. And even for stand-up too. And again, I respect the craft. I honor the craft. So I would love to be a student to study it and practice it.
It's good shit, man. It's good networking. It's good practice. It's good. If you can make people laugh, I used to do it, very short time, but I used to do it many years ago. And my buddy took off with it. He continued it. I was going through a whole divorce and, that whole problem and shit. But nice. Ian Edwards, he was like, "You're going through a divorce?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, that sounds like great content to do stand-up comedy and stuff." But it was just so stressful that I walked away. But one of the places that I used to do open mics is they would do poetry too.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the place. There was one in Van Nuys and one in North Hollywood.
And that's the thing, too, about being an artist and being a creator, such as yourself. No matter the realm you're in, no matter the platform, the thing about being an artist and a creative is you have to grow through, and I say that intentionally, grow through the university of life.
Right.
So you have a great understanding. So you have compassion. So you have content, whether it be comedy or radio or podcast, film, television, music, what have you. You have to grow through the university of life.
Yeah.
Hence, that would make great content for the comedy.
Yeah.
And the dope thing, too, about comedy and stand-up is, it's such an intellectual, creative craft.
It really is.
You know what I mean? And, comedy is medicine. And you have to really know and master the art of being real, but coming off lighthearted and funny.
Right.
And with being real, you're like a mirror to other people in life. You know what I mean? You're really telling people about themselves and about the world that we're in and really opening people's eyes. And it just happens to be in a lighthearted, funny, and comical, fun way. Yeah. So that's something that's very interesting that I've taken from comedy and, of course, stand-up. I respect it.
I got a good friend of mine. He's really my best friend.
Yeah.
And, I've known him for 20 years. And we'll laugh so hard when there's just a stressful time and, my girl did in that work and I lost the job and the money. We just start laughing like one time we were just, Debbie Downers and shit. And I was like, "Oh yeah, well I was raised like this." And he was like, "Oh yeah, well I was raised like this." And I was like, "Bro, I didn't even have a fucking father." And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, my fucking father used to kick me." And we were competing about who had it worse. And we caught ourselves. We're like, "This is the stupidest fucking guy." And we were just laughing so fucking hard.
That's love right there too.
Oh yeah.
Being that you can have that conversation first and foremost with yourself and with someone who you trust, who you consider your best friend. That's love 100%. Right there. 100%. And to start in like a dark way and to start to get some color and some texture and to laugh at it, laugh at yourself and laugh at it. And the lesson in that too is, we shouldn't take ourselves and lives in our life too seriously.
Absolutely.
Because everything is fleeting, the good and the bad. When we're still here, we're still breathing. We still have the capacity to have love and compassion. We still have the capacity to change, to grow, and to do better.
But it's hard. It's hard to. It's the same friend that I'm talking about. He's in Colombia right now, and he just had a ayahuasca experience, and unfortunately, it wasn't that good compared to other times that he's taken it because it's changed the course of his life.
Yes.
But yesterday I was having dinner with a friend of mine. He's a doctor. And I love the way he described of what happens and why people have these changes. And the way that he talked about it, the way he describes it is, he goes, "Look, when you start life in your brain, when you start life, you're at the top of a mountain. And the thing is there's different tracks, okay? And what happens is sometimes people commit to one track and only stay on that track. And sometimes that track is depression or limited, or you can't go past this, or because the color of your skin, or because how you speak English, or because how you pronounce stuff, or because you're a female, or because you're this, and you start getting your track, and that track gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Now this is life. This is your reality. You can't get past this anymore. That's it. And what happens is some people take this ayahuasca or these DMTs, or they do these microdoses, and it kind of gets you out of those tracks that you've been living your whole life, and limitation your whole life, and you start saying, wait a minute, I'm doing this to myself. I don't have to be on this track. I can just go over there.
Everything was a lie.
Everything was a lie.
Everything was a lie.
And I've had this conversation recently too. It's all a lie. Like, it's a system through the school systems, the government, the way our parents were raised, the way, like,
and it's a cycle, and it's perpetuated, and it's passed down.
It's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. So I've always wanted to try ayahuasca, but when I heard it described this way, I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, who wouldn't want to get out of their tracks, especially if you're a person that's just like, I hate fucking my life, or I hate my color, I hate my eyes, I hate my hair, I hate my shape I'm in, you know? And there's things we could change, and there's things we can't. But anyways, I thought that was cool.
No, I love that. And that's a great segue, because speaking of, there's things that we can change and things that we can't. You know, the greatest gift that you can give to yourself, and then from there to give to others, is your love, your compassion, and your presence. If I were to choose one thing, the greatest gift you can give to yourself is presence. The greatest gift you can give to others is your presence. And with the presence comes the compassion and the love. And then from there, you can be in great acceptance and power and glory for you being beautifully and uniquely made.
Yeah.
You know, we are
I agree with
perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That used to be in a fucking song, and I love that line.
Yeah.
I think it was Foo Fighters or something. And it was such a beautiful line. I was like, wow, you're so perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
I gotta add this one because it's everywhere. Will Smith, Chris Rock. I'm just curious, man. What's your thought? Because I'm reading comments, and it's just like, Jada's sick.
Yeah.
And she just got.
Yeah, you know, I had a feeling we were going to get into that too, and it's such an important conversation. It was an important. Okay, let's backtrack. I believe that everything happens divinely for a reason. The things that are great, the things that are not great. It's an opportunity to open our eyes and to grow from that situation. Okay, so the thing that happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, it was a lot. It was heavy. It was, for me personally, in the Black community, very triggering. You know, seeing these men up on stage. You know, seeing one man come down on another man's wife. This man reacting that way. And on a public stage, and obviously people are tearing both men down.
Oscars and everybody,
you know what I mean? And people are also tearing Will Smith down too. With me, I'm such my energy is. I'd like to say that my energy is very high above water, very high above the clouds, in a very objective view. You know, just looking at everything, and I'm looking at Will Smith as the person, with a spirit and with a heart, with a mind. And in certain moments, you know, logic goes out the window, you know, where we'd like to think that we know how we would handle that situation by the way in which we learned, in which we were indoctrinized on how to act in society, in public, by the way.
Right.
So we'd like to think that we know how we would act. We'd like to say how he should have responded. But the fact is, you know, he was a human in that moment, next to his wife, who is hurting from this situation, and it was commented and, you know, joked on, you know, publicly on that stage. And, you know, he acted, you know, defensively to protect her in that honor. Do I agree that it was, you know, a great, fantastic thing that I would love to see? Absolutely not. I wish that did not happen. However, I do have an understanding and empathy, you know, as a person, you know, with a heart, in that situation, you know, for all people who could possibly be hurting. And, you know, me personally, you know, like I said, it would be nice if it didn't happen, but coming from me, I'm not coming down on Will Smith. I'm not mad at it. I wish that it didn't happen like that on the public stage.
I think for me, the biggest thing is it's just so shocking. Because I grew up to Will Smith, man.
Yeah.
I know, man. I had every album in 1987, 88, 89.
Yeah.
You know, he's the first rapper to win the first rap award. No, first rap award when MTV created that category. You know, with Parents Just Don't Understand. His movies. I mean, I grew up with Will Smith, like in that sense of watching the TV, the movies, listening to music, everything. It's just shocking because that's not a Will Smith thing
absolutely.
to do.
That's like if Buddha just came and smacked the shit out of somebody. You know, it's like what the hell is going on right now? So I get that.
And again, it's deeper, and everybody's facing their demons or whatever.
Yeah, it's so deep. You know, we all eat the same, sleep the same, shit the same. You know what I mean? And the thing about this business and celebrities and people that we adore and admire, they're put on a great high pedestal and they're dehumanized.
Right.
So then, we tend to get shocked at these things as if it's Buddha smacking the shit out of somebody.
Right.
So I mean, it's a conversation I had last night with a group of people when I was attending a live Oscar watch party. We have to really get down to what it is to be a human in the heat of a moment. So, that's just a place where I'm coming from, oftentimes, like I said, people that we admire and look up to and celebrities, they're dehumanized.
Yeah.
So, that's just where I'm coming from with compassion. I'm not agreeing that was great that happened. I wish it didn't. I wish I didn't see it. But there's a lot to consider. There's a lot to consider. And these people that we watching on TV are dehumanized. So they should act a certain way. They should hold their composure. They should basically be.
Let's not forget to bring up how well Chris Rock took it.
Ooh, he took it like a champ.
Hey, he deserves an Oscar for that.
Yeah,
because that ain't no fucking joke.
Yeah, like Will smack the shit out of him.
And the stance, and I do have to talk about that real quick. But Will Smith's stance was fucking gangster, man. That's like.
Yo, the way he walked on stage, the way he smacked the shit out that man. Yo,
man,
that was thugged out.
It's not right.
That was thugged out. I'm not gonna front. I was like, Will handle that like a G,
like a fucking G, man. And the posture and he never turned his head. He was like,
and even the stills, he looks like a gangster in the stills
and
too.
Stills, like every angle of that was like, I was like. But Chris Rock took it like a champ.
And I'm glad that, they didn't take, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully nothing happens. But I'm glad that, he still was presented with the award that he was deserved to receive that night. And I'm glad it was an opportunity to speak, because if he did not have that opportunity to speak, there will be so much more mixed feelings and people tearing him down. They're still tearing him down. But at least he had that opportunity to have that speech. And for me, it was so beautiful, so powerful, so raw, so real. And it really just speaks on, again, how we dehumanize these people, and these people are people.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are mistakes. There are certain things that shouldn't happen. But at the same time, we are all human. We eat, sleep, shit the same. And react in primal moments, in certain cases are valid. That was a major primal moment on that big public stage. But when we take away that stage, when we take away him being a celebrity who we all love and adore, and we get down to what it is to be a human with a heart in that moment, with a loved one who's sitting next to you, who's hurting and who's getting abused, we have to think about that and have just a little bit of compassion.
Yeah.
And just not be too quick to tear that person down. We wouldn't like it for people to be too quick to tear us down in bad moments and to drag us in the mud.
And then last thing on this topic, do you think, because of his action, do you think people are going to try to mess with him more and make more jokes? Like he put himself on that spot, like
Absolutely.
The whole bullying and cancel culture?
Yeah.
Or you think it's like, you know what, I'm just not, don't fuck with Will Smith?
In regards to cancel culture, I really don't see him being canceled. What I do see is him continuing to being dragged and being bullied and being memed, especially in regards to the past year with, his life and his relationship with his wife and everything that's been happening. I think it's just going to add fuel to the fire with people just being bullies and picking on him and just dragging him in those ways. Do I think he'll be canceled?
Not because of that.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be canceled, but I think that
Isn't that amazing? Like you could build yourself up for 30 years?
Yeah.
30 plus years and just 5 seconds.
Yo, that's what it takes. You know, that's another conversation we can have too in society in regards to cancel culture. You know, what is that? Why is it the way that it is? Why are people so quick? And again, you know, people are so quick to judge others, especially those who are put on the pedestal, but it's hard for them to look at themselves. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect. We all have our misfortunes. We all have our flaws. And, you know, we're doing our best to get to that big, bright, beautiful place of just undeniable love.
Yeah.
And to win. And we should not only want that for ourselves, but we should want that for each other.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. You know,
we don't. We do. There's too many haters.
Yeah.
There's way too many haters.
Yeah.
I think one of the best superpowers that I should be able to do, but I don't, and it gets to me, is like to convert haterism into energy. Like I wish I could do that, man. Because sometimes I let that shit get to me.
Yeah.
I'll get people that are close to me, and fucking people start fucking with me, and then I'm like, what? I'm like, bitch, I just fucking helped you with this, and I did that, and I was there, and this, that, that. And I see the hating, and then it bothers me afterwards. And then I'm like, why did I let that shit happen?
And you see, because you
fuck people, and then I get pissed.
Yeah, because you were a human with this human mind, a beautiful, great heart, along with a human ego. And we're balancing our higher self and our human ego in every moment of every day. You know what I mean? And like I said, the things that are unfortunate, the misfortunes, you know, the slips, the falls, the things that don't make us happy, the things that don't make us feel good, they are an opportunity to grow through that situation. Why is this triggering me right now? What do I need to learn from this situation? What do I need to learn from this pain, from this anxiety, from this anger? What do I need to be released? What about this whole situation is mirroring me that I need to address and work on to get better with? And the key word is to get better, because it's a marathon. It's a never-ending journey of growing and learning and doing better. And we'll have moments, we'll have seasons of just beautiful highs. And we'll have the lows.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But do you, because again, we were talking, we mentioned a little bit of the brainwashing and how the society controls us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think, okay, you're in great shape. Yeah. You're fucking ripped. You work out. You fucking, we're going to talk about, you know, your diet, everything else.
Yeah.
Do you think it's bad to show off? Like, kind of, let's just say show off. Is it bad to show off and say, look, I fucking work out. This is how I look. Check this out. People, look at this out. Or do you think that's like, oh, the evil eye and don't brag and people are going to wish hateful shit? They're going to wish hateful shit. But should you care about that or not care about that? Are you private with your stuff, or are you promoting it? Not because you're proud of it. Not only because you're proud of it, but you want to encourage people. Like, hey, look.
Exactly. I do it. You know, that's an amazing, important, big question, and great segue into my response. I put myself out there intentionally. You know, it's partially my higher self and my human self being proud of myself. So I should feel good in my own skin. I should feel good looking at myself. I should be able to admire myself rather than seeking validation outside. I should seek it within. And because I have this from within, it seeps through my pores, and people are going to see it. And I will intentionally show it, not just to expand that love for myself, but to also nourish and inspire other people. So we get into doing that with purpose. So I think it's a beautiful, important thing. Now, don't get me wrong. You can do so in a healthy way. You can do so in a non-healthy, toxic, egoic way.
Right.
You know, and there may be a fine line. We'd like to think that we're doing all these things in healthy ways, but there may be some ego here and there.
Right.
And then we talk about society.
But don't you need a fucking little bit of ego?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't you like,
you do.
I think that's what really separates, you know, people. It's either a little bit of ego or not caring. You know, like, I don't care. Like, we'll talk about back to the comedian thing. That has to be either ego or I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because I can. I'm going to do it because I don't care what anybody says. And this is fun for me.
Absolutely. I think it is important to have a bit of ego. I mean, the whole function of the ego, too, is also to protect yourself.
Right. It's survival and shit.
You know what I mean?
But isn't it weird how we're in a culture that tries to, like,
Yeah. You talk about indoctrination and the culture who just thinks that everything is bad, you know.
Bad.
You know what I mean?
You're a man. Bad. You work out.
Oh,
bad.
man.
You got an ego.
Oh, man. To talk about emasculation. Talk about emasculation, you know. It's unhealthy to be fucking masculine and to have testosterone and to be confident. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's fucking terrible.
No,
what's wrong with you?
no.
Conceited. It's bad. But
you know what I mean? You can be things. You can be these things in an unhealthy way. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, just people just think that it's bad altogether. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you? Yeah, what are you talking about?
Is there an intention to emasculate a powerful man because you're in fear, because you're inferior? What is it? What is it? And speaking about that, I'd also like to talk about the energy between men, all men, and in particular men of color, with competition, inferiority complexes. And I really feel like we should honor each other more. We should love on each other more. We should value and appreciate each other more. We should nourish each other more. We should support each other more. We should admire each other more. You know what I mean? You're not my competition. I'm not your competition. We're each other's allies. Yeah. I want to see you win. You want to see me win.
It's hard.
You know what I mean?
It's hard. I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
I'm Cuban.
Yeah.
The Latin community. I love my Latin community. I love Cuban people. I love Latin people. Yeah. But god damn, we're so fucking competitive. And Mexico versus Argentina. I don't like Argentina. I don't like Dominican Republic. I don't like Guatemala. I don't like Salvador. Oh, you're from what part of Colombia? I don't like that part. Oh, you're from Spain? Fuck you.
Yeah.
We're so number one. Number two, no loyalty. Everybody will fuck everybody's girlfriend and fuck you and fuck that. Like there's cheating. There's stepping on each other. There's no loyal partnerships in business. It's kind of what you're saying, that it's like, guys, hold on.
What are we doing? Do you realize how much?
If you help me, I will help you. If I help you, just be loyal. You don't have to help me.
And that's also my energy.
Just be loyal.
That's also my energy. I give without asking to receive.
Right.
Out of just the love of my heart. I just want to give you love and I want to see you win. You know what I mean? I want to tell you that you're doing great. I'm fucking proud of you. And if there's anything I can do to assist you, I'm there. You know what I mean?
And that's what it should be about with everybody.
Yeah.
With especially anybody you're going to hang out with or have a drink with or have to do a podcast with.
Yeah.
Minimum, you need a ride, car broke down, whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
But we're in a society that doesn't exist. And then in the Hispanic community, this is rooted back into everybody's mentality, and they turn it into race. They turn it into that Latin person's not that Latin person. Latin person. Education. It's disgusting.
There's so much, and it's inherited because it really goes back generations.
And then your parents do it. It goes back generations. Like there's a lot of LA Latinos. Actually, We had an incident in the sauna where that guy was hilarious.
Yeah.
Where you're talking about, my body's a temple and I don't want to put shit in my toxic temples, and I don't fuck with my sleep schedule unless it's work related. And this guy's like, sex, but you gotta do it for sex.
He's like, what about sex?
What? Nobody's even talking to you.
So random. So random. We were having this important, beautiful, free flowing conversation, and he's just like, but what about sex though? And he just wouldn't stop.
He says, and sex.
Oh yeah, and sex. like don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And we're like, what? He's like, if you're horny in the middle of that, like, dude, like if you have control of your, like, I think Seinfeld had an episode. What was the name of that episode? Control of your domain.
Yeah.
They made a bet, where they were like, let's see who has control of their domain. And, and that was the whole episode, and it was just hilarious.
I got to watch this episode. I haven't seen it.
Oh, man, it's funny. Like, some of them couldn't think properly. They couldn't work properly. They're like, master of your domain. That's I think that's the name of the episode. Very funny.
I need to watch that.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
But it was hilarious. And this, we're talking about being masters of our domain and focus and game and, then... Like that's not even on the agenda. That's like family and myself and self-improvement and nutrition and smoking or non-smoking, caffeine, non-caffeine, and that got brought up. But anyways, my point is that that's what like the Latin community is. It's like sex, 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 sex. It's like, guys, let's succeed. Let's help each other out. Sex, 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 sex. And no loyalty. There's very little loyalty. I know a lot of Armenian cats, and I don't want to say they don't have that, but they are very tribal.
Okay.
They are very tribal.
Okay.
And they will do whatever they need to do to get what they want.
Yeah.
Together. And they'll fuck over everybody. They'll fuck over everybody, and they'll do fucked up things here and fucked up things there to everybody else. But within their community, they will do it together as a tribe.
Yes.
Even if they just met. You know, if they say, hey, man, you're from, oh, me too. Hey, let's work together.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's the only people I've seen it happen with.
Yo, and that's a mentality that we should actually all adopt. You know, we were speaking about loyalty and just sex, 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 and not working together on competition and not liking each other. Do you realize how much damage we would do if we got together?
Oh, it'd be scary.
If we wanted to see each other win and got together, how much damage we would do?
It would change the world.
You see what I'm saying?
It would change the world.
And they don't want that. You know, these motherfuckers
Who's they?
These motherfuckers, the powers that be, these motherfuckers in control of all this bullshit, especially the media. They don't want that
media,
shit.
Government.
You see, yes, media.
Fucking the big families.
Yes.
They want division.
They want that division.
Shit. There's right now people probably watching this, once I publish this, that are going to be like, oh, freedom's on the right side of the table.
Oh, yeah.
And Robert's on the left side. Fuck the right side. It's all about the left side. No, fuck that. Any way to divide it.
Absolutely.
Vegan. Fuck vegan.
Yeah.
Meat eater. Fuck meat eater. Oh, fucking fitness. You're fit. Fuck that. Fat. Like anything by area code, zip code, block. Anything.
Everybody is just, let me not say everybody, but a lot of people are in their own world.
Most.
With a lens that's filtered with all the bullshit that they experienced, that they were told, taught, and indoctrinized with. And we have to be able to identify that we're wearing this lens and be able to take that motherfucker off and start seeing things.
It's back to the track.
Yeah.
It's back. They said, this is the track you're going to take and stay on it. It's the same shit.
Yes, and we have to watch, speaking of vegan, we have to watch what we consume and not just food. I'm talking about everything in regards to energy, who we talk to, who we have our energy dances with, what we consume, in media, how we consume it. Are you able to ask yourself questions? Are you able to ask questions outside of yourself? Have you forgotten that you are a free being, who has a free will and who can question? Or are you just absorbing and taking it as doctrine? So, a lot of people have to ask themselves that question.
It's crazy how we stay in our bubble and don't leave it. I'll give you two statistics that I thought that blew my mind. Statistic number one was 72% of Americans never been to the beach. Think about it. You only got two coasts. The rest of the United States doesn't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
So at first I was like, get the fuck out of here. And then I was like, damn, that's crazy.
And by the way, the sun is life and nature is life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That was statistic number one. Then it got deeper.
Yeah.
It was like over 50 to 60% of people that live in East LA have never been to the beach. They're just stuck in their community.
Yo, what was the percentage? Say that again.
Oh, it was like 50, 60%.
Shit.
Never left East LA to go to the beach.
Shit. And the beach is right there.
And with traffic and this and that, but they've always been in their community. As a matter of fact, listen to this story. I was driving my car to Vegas, middle of the night. It's like 2:30 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
Front tire, right when you pass Barstow,
yeah,
is like that desert emptiness. Mm-hmm. Front tire pops.
Yeah.
All right, call the fucking manufacturer of the car. They're going to send the tow truck. It'll take 2 to 3 hours to get out there. I was like, can I leave the car here if I get a ride? They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I start calling. I was trying Uber, but I was really in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, long story short, I get a hold of a Barstow taxi company, and this girl answers, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this, that." My wife's talking to her like, "Oh, we'll pay the fee, whatever it is, just come pick us up." She's like, "All right, I'll be there like in an hour and a half." She got there in an hour and a half. 24-year-old girl, nicest girl in the world. Where are you from? Barstow, born and raised. And she said it, born and raised, not proud. And I was like, "Why not proud?" She's like, "It's just boring. It's just boring." And her story was crazy because it's like her mom died at birth, when she was born, and then her dad just died right now from COVID.
Yeah.
So she's by herself in Barstow. And I was like, "Have you ever been in LA?" She's like, "Once when I was like 8. And I was like, "Really? You live in Barstow and you only been in LA once?" And she's like, "Yeah. What I remember, it was just so crazy. I never wanted to go back."
Okay.
And I'm like, "This is 2 hours away." Like,
just 2 hours away. She's
yeah,
only
Barstow,
been there
because
one
Barstow's,
time.
she's only one time when she was
One
8,
time.
and she was 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
So there's people that never have left their hometown
That is a
and
big
don't
fact.
know nothing other than what their school taught them or what their
That-
fucking community taught them.
Yeah.
And this is
And it's all bullshit, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
The school system is all bullshit, by the way.
Terrible. It's
Yeah.
it's the biggest bullshit that
Yeah.
exists,
Yeah.
especially the universities and everything
Yeah.
else. It's terrible. And I went to Pepperdine and paid a shitload of fucking money to go there.
Right.
But the only thing that's changed in the school system in the last 100 years is the price they charge,
Yeah. Which is also bullshit.
which is big bullshit. It's
Yeah.
a business. Everything has become a business.
Everything is a business. Everything. The school system.
But what's the solution?
A big part of that solution is going back earlier to getting together. This and doing the serious damage that we can do by getting together, uniting truly, bringing each other up, and then building for ourselves.
All right, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Ooh, how do I do that? I have a gift, and it comes to me easily. I'm really in tune with my higher self, and it just lives through my heart, and it just seeps through my pores. I truly love. I truly love. I see the good in you. I feel your heart, and I want to let you know that you're in the right place and that you're doing the right shit. And that you're going places, you know what I'm saying, and that I'm here, and that I'm rooting for you, you know what I mean. I don't want to see you in pain, I truly want to see you win, and this is truly from my higher self and my heart, and I really walk into the world treating people this way. A friend of mine told me that I had a gift of disarming people. There may be some people who are reserved, maybe they're too afraid to talk, maybe they look fierce, maybe they look angry or upset, don't like talking to people or what have you. But when I'm around and when I open my mouth and engage, I do so in such a genuine and loving way that it brings the guards down, the walls just come crashing down, so for me personally, it's just
but is that, I mean, if I was just to guess, and if anybody hears this or everybody that's hearing this would guess, you love yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You accept yourself.
Absolutely. But
you wake up and you're like,
yo,
what a beautiful day. It's raining.
Yo.
What a beautiful fucking day. But there's many people that don't.
Yeah, you know what? Man, look, listen.
Like, how do you grow to love yourself? And has there ever been a dark moment in your life?
Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Okay, so first I will say thank you. Thank you for acknowledging. Thank you for seeing me. This is also the act and the art of presence that we spoke about. Thank you for that. I really do honor myself. I really do love myself. You asked if there was a point in time where, I believe you said, if there was darkness.
A dark moment, in your life that you just...
The majority of my life was darkness. En route to loving myself dearly, I did not love myself. I was in such a dark place, a deep dark night of the soul, from my earliest memories in my childhood. Okay. And I was programmed in such a way, I had these cloudy lenses on. I was in so much agonizing pain every day of my life. And I was on a journey to being happy, at peace, free, and full of love for myself. And with all the pain that I endured, with all the darkness that I went through, I took a great inventory not only of myself, but of what I was surrounded by in the world that I'm living in. From there, I grew a deeper in depth of understanding, not just of myself, but of the world and also of the system. I grew a great understanding of other people who are also different, but going through their shit and going through their pain. And I don't want to see other people go through pain like that without the understanding that there is light, and that it is possible to be love, to give love, and to receive love, and to win. So all of that was a process en route to me today, loving myself and honoring myself truly, and giving it to others, with my purpose to give.
What was the moment that you said, I have to change the way I talk? Like I read one of those fucking memes, the Bruce Lee one.
Yeah.
And it says, be careful what you say about your body, because your body doesn't know if you're joking, or it doesn't know the difference between a joke and the truth.
That is so true. The mind is very powerful.
The mind. So if you talk bad about your body,
yeah,
your body's going to respond to that.
Yeah.
But when was the moment? What took place? Like, it doesn't matter how dark it got.
Yeah.
What was the moment that you said, wait, I don't love myself, or I don't care about myself, or I'm distracted with everything else and impressing other people. Like, what was that moment?
Ooh. What was that moment? I will say I had a moment. I was living, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, by the way, and I was living in Brooklyn with my sister, and I was studying media arts at Long Island University, and I went to go see a play where Blair Underwood was performing. My college professor, who was also a great friend and mentor, she invited me to the show. We went backstage and kicked it with him. Brilliant, beautiful guy. Very, very amazing in his craft, and also just being around him and hearing his words inspired me to do better for myself. That was another period of darkness in my life, and I was also unhealthy and overweight, and I was smoking cigarettes and shit like that. And I said, you know what? I'm very capable, and I want better. And I'm just starting now. Like, I'm just gonna go on a different, nutrition plan. I'm gonna get on a fitness plan, and the wheels are gonna start turning now for me working for myself.
Nice.
And mind you, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was still growing through life in a deep darkness until quite recently, where I lifted the veil. I remembered who I truly are, who I truly am, universally, with my higher self, and truly started undeniably just loving and adoring myself, But I would say that was a big pivotal moment in my human body to take action, to start to change, to take.
And you did this sober, like you didn't do ayahuasca or DMT or any drugs.
Sober.
You didn't go through that. That's amazing. That's even more powerful.
Yeah, I've had my experiences though. Like I've done plant medicine with shrooms actually. So I've had several times where I've done that, and I've tuned in even deeper, to my higher self, and all that is, and I've gotten great inspiration from that as well. But those big pivotal moments in my life, that was sober. I feel like my whole life I've been on a journey to remembering myself, out of darkness and despair, from childhood, I ran away from myself and I numbed myself. And then I've been on a journey to be able to feel again and in search of my truth, and to remember myself. I've always been on this journey, this marathon, to get to that place. And I've had several pivotal moments of epiphanies and awakenings and openings, to take actions of great change.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What brought you to LA? Because you're originally being from Brooklyn.
Yeah, so from Brooklyn, New York, and I was finally inspired to make that move, as an artist, as an actor, voiceover artist, music, and just everything across the board. But the first love, was acting, which led to voiceover, and also music's in my bones as well. So, I practice that as well. Singing classes in the past year have been doing damage with that. writing, rapping as well. But the foundation has been, film and television with acting, which led to voiceover.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good. That's fucking big business.
Yeah.
I heard it's changed a lot. I got some buddies of mine.
What do you mean, like in the past year?
In the past 5 years,
Okay.
the whole acting and TVs and, how they pay and how they book and, what they're looking for and requirements. And it's just completely fucking changed.
Yeah, and in regards to what they're looking for and requirements, it's bullshit, especially when you think of the role of a producer and culture and pop culture. What is popping now in pop culture? Who do we need to please? So we're going to
Who do we need to please?
You see what I'm saying? So we're going to make this type of film or this type of television show. We're going to cast this type of person. We're going to cast that type of person. So
it's fucking dumb.
So if you get turned down, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're ugly or you're a piece of shit or you're not great at your cast.
No, it could be because you're not ugly enough or you're
You know what I mean? And the same thing, if you get casted, it doesn't mean that you were the best. It means that, you satisfied, that mission for whatever.
Yeah. And that was a conversation I was having with a bunch of my guys that do this professionally, and they've done it professionally for many years, and they're just like, it's just, they want you to try out for something, and it's like, I know that's not what they want. Like, why are they making me jump through the fucking hoops? Because I wouldn't cast myself. I wouldn't cast myself for this. And then what I would cast myself for, they wouldn't cast because it's not what whoever the people are at this point, because I have no idea who they're,
Right.
going after. I really don't know. Like
it's crazy. Like even me, since I have such a dynamic and powerful voice and just my presence, and oftentimes I've been hard to cast because it's just overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's like like all of that shit is great, but it's like damn, but where do we put you? Or we don't want you to overshadow this, or what have you.
Yeah, I could see that.
So it's very interesting.
It's like the guy that does the Allstate commercials.
Yeah,
like he can't really do other commercials now because it's so branded.
Yeah,
which is same thing. It's back to Saved by the Bell, Screech, or Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
They played these roles that was so. What's the word?
Typecast.
Typecast? Is that
typecast? Yeah, it's like you play this role so very well. There's so much power and intention in that role. It's like we only see you in this type of role. So it's
that's
typecast.
it. And I think that happened to Steve Urkel. I can't remember his real name.
Jaleel White.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know he tried to come back and he did some like really cool stuff, and he's a great actor.
Yeah. Really great.
Screech, same thing, Screech was fucking like, he went from being this character, and then after that, his life kind of just crashed, and then I think he went into porn.
Oh shit!
Like fuck, what else? What is he gonna do?
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
Gotta pay the rent. Gotta pay the rent.
Shit,
something strange for some change, man.
Yeah, man. So like the rent was too damn high. So
the rent was too high. They weren't giving me work. What you want me to do?
What you want me to do? So he did that for a minute, and then it just happens, and that happens with the voice. That happens with comedy. That happens with serious characters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This is the first time in my life, after hearing their conversation, I was like, man, this is like they're having normal problems like people have at a job,
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I was like, you know what? This is the first time in my life, and I've lived in LA my whole life.
Yeah.
That I was like, you know what? I want to do some voiceovers, or I want to do some acting, or I want to jump into something, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So now I'm starting to inquire that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a great opportunity right now.
Oh, absolutely. And
it's always been a great opportunity. It's just there was something in my mind saying, I can't do it because blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I'm a believer that you can do whatever you put your mind to.
100%.
I mean, it's so fucking cliche, but it's so true.
It's very simple. Yeah, you're right. It's cliche, but it's so simple to fucking do.
Yeah, and we can make it complicated, or we can simplify it and make it simple. So we also have the choice to make it difficult or make it simple.
But people like complicated shit.
Yeah.
People like drama. People like prop.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. People like lies and stories.
Yo,
you know,
it's all we've been told is lies.
It's
and
all
stories
we've been told.
On the news, on the weather.
People love that shit
on film and television.
I'll give you a simple,
and it's called a program for a reason. A program,
right? It's a program, exactly. I'll give you a perfect example. You know, when I was working full time and had a job and fucking had to show up and this that.
Yeah.
If I showed up late because I was partying last night and I was drinking with my friends and having a good time, and I showed up to work late, and my boss was like, "Hey, you're late."
Yeah.
You know, and I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I was out with my friends. You know, we got carried away.
Yeah.
I went to sleep late, and that's irresponsible. Like, I would eat a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's stupid. And this, that, for telling the truth.
Yeah.
But if I came back and I was like, the tire for my car blew out and it spinned and it caused an accident, and there was some. What? And then what happened? Oh, well, and you start telling the story.
Yeah.
People entertain that more than the actual truth.
Yeah.
And people it's the coffee cup's right here, but people will go around the table and like people like complicated shit.
Yeah. Yeah. The truth is unacceptable. Let's talk about that.
The truth is
fucking unacceptable,
right,
and we're in a drought of honesty and compassion. Where's the compassion? Where's the compassion? So people are having a hard time being honest. The truth is unacceptable.
You know how many times I've had an incident, and I was at 100% honesty where I was like, "It's okay."
Yeah.
And people just twisted it on me. Yeah. And I'm like, like there was one time, I'll never forget this. I was 14, 15 years old. I had a Casio calculator watch. And it was the calculator one, but the stainless steel one.
Yeah.
And I'm playing basketball with this kid. And this kid slaps my fucking wrist. The watch falls off, cracks.
Yeah.
And the kid goes into a deep, I'm sorry. And I'm like, bro, it's okay. He's like, bro, I'm so sorry. Your watch. I go, dude, it's okay. It's like, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel so bad. I go, hey, let's continue playing. Don't worry about it. He goes, it was broken already, huh? And I go, what? He goes, well, you don't care. It must have been broken. Oh, your watch was already broken. And I'm like,
what?
What just fucking took place here?
What are you talking about?
This has happened to me a few times where I'm just like, dude, I'm not, fucking TV. You break my TV. It's like, bro, I got insurance. You know, like I'm all about extended warranties and fucking insurance, especially when you deal with people like that.
Let's make that clear.
But you break this, like, fuck, I get it, man. It wasn't intentional. You know, I'm not, bro. I was at a casino not too long ago, and I hit a jackpot, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little tipsy. I won. I know how I am.
Yeah.
I give it to my boy. I go, bro, whatever you do, don't give me this money. Give it to me tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. Just hold my money. Will you hold my money?
Yeah.
Cool. This guy, let's just say he invited some unwelcoming people into his room.
Yeah.
And they roofied him or whatever. They took his shit.
Yeah.
They took the money.
Yeah.
They took everything.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, he called me up in the middle of the night. He's like, Robert, they took everything. I go, what do you mean? Like they took everything. I had, and like it was just a mat. And I showed up and I go, bro, it was a fucking jackpot.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And he paid, like he got it. He got it. But I did the same thing.
That's a beautiful superpower to have, though. Your responses in those situations.
Much. It's too much sometimes. It really is, because he came through and was like, let me make it right.
Yeah.
But 99.99999% of the time, that shit bites me in the ass, man.
Yeah.
Either people don't take responsibility for their actions, or they think, oh, you didn't care.
Yeah.
Or it's like if I give you something.
So we have to have a balance.
You got to have a balance.
You know what I mean?
And I don't have that balance, because if you give something to people, people think because you give it away, you never appreciate it.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. This polar opposites where you're a hothead and you're losing your fucking mind and just going crazy, and then you have this part on the other side of the spectrum where you're just full of peace and love and light, and you're just letting everything just run you over. You need to have Great balance. You know what I mean?
You gotta have a great balance.
When you have the compassion and you understand that shit happens, so you don't lose your mind.
Bro,
but at
I've
the same
lost
time,
it all. I've lost it all and got it back and lost
Yeah.
it all and got it
Yeah.
back. Like, I've been through it.
and that's also love and respect for yourself too with the balance. You see,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? When you have that balance, depending on the situation, you're not gonna let that shit slide.
Right.
But you'll also watch how you handle that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even if you do go off, it's okay and it's valid. But yeah, with that proper balance, that comes with a lot of love and compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
So there's levels to the shit.
And like I said, in many cases that I'm cool about it,
Yeah.
people don't take responsibility. And I don't expect them to.
Yeah.
I tell them it's cool.
Yeah.
But this guy came through. And when he did,
great.
it felt so good. And I was like, wow, bro, like
That's amazing.
like that is amazing. Okay, let's talk about vegan. That
Yes.
shit's crazy.
Yeah,
Wild.
man.
What is this, man? What is a vegan?
Man, what is a vegan? A vegan.
I remember. I got to tell this story once.
Yeah.
I remember 15 years ago, I
Yeah.
met this guy, Cuban dude, and he's
Yeah.
like vegan, and I'm like, what, man? He's like vegan, and I go, what the fuck is that, man? He's like, bro, just no animal product, no blah
Yeah,
blah blah blah. He just got detailed into it, and I go, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
He goes, Robert, there's so many girls that are vegans right now, and there's guys that are not vegans, and these chicks have vegan parties.
Yeah.
And I'm the only dude there, and this guy had some big goofy fucking ears. And he
Yeah.
goes, he had big little ears. He had some weird fucking ears.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, these vegan parties are insane. These girls are beautiful. And this was 15 years ago, and I was like, fuck that while I'm
Yeah.
eating a hamburger. Like, that's
Yeah.
dumb. Like, pussy ain't that important.
Hilarious.
Anyways,
Yo.
so
That's an amazing segue. So what is a vegan? Oh man, yeah, a vegan is one who doesn't consume animal byproducts.
but it's deep. Like
It-
it's even like certain mushrooms, like things that have eyes or senses.
You know
I
what?
don't know.
I used to. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm not perfect. I used to overly obsess of, is this, truly 100% vegan? Like this, that, and the third, the factory, all this, and then it got to the point where I didn't have time for that. Not at this point in my life. I don't have time to fucking obsess over everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes deep.
it
I mean,
goes
it's very particular to what makes a product vegan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, with my journey, I would say I started veganism maybe a good solid around
Veganism.
maybe 5 years ago in New York City. And prior to that, I was kind of dabbling. I was off and on because I wasn't ready. That's something big to transition to. And, this is what we learned. This is how we were indoctrinized. This is how we were raised. This is what our palate and our taste buds are used to, what our brain, what our body's used to. So it was such a big transformation. So to a lot of people, it's like, whoa, like that's fucking huge. I don't know if I could do that. But for me, I was just intrigued in regards to being mindful of what you put in your body, not just for the physical benefits, but also mental benefits and even spiritual benefits of you cleansing yourself and clearing your energy. You know what I mean? So in regards to physicality, for, less inflammation, less prone to disease and what have you, as in regards to the mental aspect, really just clearing your mind a bit more, and even spiritually too, because energy is everywhere. You see what I'm saying? The animals, who are about to get slaughtered, carry that energy into the food. You know what I mean? So for me, it's all the way, just physically, mentally, and spiritually. I just wanted to get on this journey to cleanse myself, and just be the best I could be.
It was not just. It's not all about the animals. It's the animals and yourself and
Yeah. For me personally, I mean, for everybody, it's different. For everybody,
there's some people that it's like it's the animals. The animals.
Yeah.
Like, here,
Yeah, for some people, it's just about the animals. For some people, it's just spiritual or whatever. For some people, it's just, their body and their fitness. For me, it's everything. You know what I mean? So I made that decision like maybe around 5 years ago. And for me, it was, like I said, it was hard. I was like in and out of it. I couldn't really commit.
You mentioned. Sorry.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you were kind of overweight at some point in your life.
Yeah.
But was that the time you did the change? Or
It was prior. It was prior to the change. It was prior to the vegan change, man. I was eating whatever. I was eating as late as I wanted to. I was eating.
80s, 90s, man.
I was eating in abundance. You know what I mean? So, That was way prior to the veganism, you know, when I was overweight, man.
Do you remember a commercial from McDonald's that said McChicken nuggets now made with real chicken?
Yo, that's fucking crazy.
Do you remember that commercial?
I remember that shit. That's fucking
that shit
crazy.
Stuck with me like
that's fucking crazy.
Like what the fuck was it before?
So that too,
right?
That too. That's why I'm here now doing this,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
That shit's fucking crazy.
It's fucking
now
crazy.
Made even with real chicken.
Even the shit that is real, you know, how was it prepared? How was it prepared?
Right, and now it's made with real chicken and what? And what part of the chicken? Like,
you know what I'm saying? Is it clean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Was there a big cyst that you scraped off and just rinsed and then put it in the package and said, "Here you go"?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and this is why I'm here.
It would probably be very easy to convince me to go into becoming a vegan. What fucks me up is there is a lot of misinformation, and the information's been changing around veganism.
Yeah.
You know, one thing is, like, would I do it for a cleanse? Absolutely. I'd try it for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm sure that'd be very good. But there's that whole thing, like, it depends on your genetics. It depends on, for example, like if you come. Like people from Greece, they eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and salads and blah, blah, blah. If you come from another part of the world where it's like a lot of meat and stuff like that, genetically, you have to prepare
genetically
because your body's going to accustom. The other thing is if you're going to do it, you got to do it the right way, especially if it's going to be a lifestyle change. And we talked about this, you need supplements, you need iron, you need protein.
Absolutely.
And the misinformation that I'm talking about is some people to say that, you know, a cup of blah, blah, blah has this much amount of protein, but it's like amount of that cooked or pre-cooked. Because when, beans are not cooked, it's a lot of beans. And when beans are cooked, it's different. You know, so there's a lot of confusing.
I get what you mean. Like, especially with beans, they take on a new shape and they expand.
You know
what I'm saying? So I feel you.
So you Google and they'll be like, oh yeah, a cup will be fine. Well, a cup of cooked beans is doable, but uncooked beans and it's uncooked.
Yeah.
So it's like double or triple. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
and I'm like that. I'm all into. I'm like that. I eat fucking raw. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I eat my Beyond Meat and the substitute bullshit. And I do that. But I do a lot of fruits and vegetables too. And in regards to like beans and legumes, I love lentils because for me, lentils are good. They're also easy to eat.
I was raised on lentils.
Yeah. So for me,
with
like
ham in there. God damn it! The ham bone and shit.
The bone.
Yeah.
You get all the flavor, get all the juice, man. But like for me, like I'll eat that shit raw. Like even spinach and my greens, I'll eat it raw. No dressing.
Would you recommend it for everybody? Like literally, can you say I wish the world was all vegan because it'd be good for everybody? Or
oh man,
you don't even get involved with that. And you're like, fuck that, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't gotten involved on it. I haven't gotten involved with it and to each their own, that mentality because of how the world is, because of how people are. Right. And we really have to be compassionate and love each other for who we are.
Period, yeah.
You know what I mean? On the other hand, I would like the world to have a greater understanding, to be curious to at least learn and to maybe try it. So I'll say that.
I'm just kind of blurring this out, but
please.
I think if the planet continues to grow at this rate, where we're 7 billion and growing.
Yeah, we've been 7 billion for how long? For a long time.
Not too long, man.
Really?
Yeah, not too long. I would say 5 years. I think 5-6 years ago we were at that 6 point something.
Okay.
And now we're at 7.4. Yeah, India and China are having a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But if it definitely, because that's happening, I think this is going to be the only way we can survive. Mm-hmm. Is plant-based foods.
Yeah.
Raw. etc.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is the more the population grows, it's still hard. You know, it's hard to be at 100% organic. It's hard to grow this much food for the population. Raw and organic. It's almost impossible.
Is it really hard, or did they tell us that it's hard?
It's very hard.
Okay.
It's very hard because if you look at the life expectancy of vegetables and salads and tomatoes and the turnaround time of when they pull it out and grab more.
I got you.
Plus the demand, plus what doesn't sell. It's really impossible.
Yeah.
Unless if everybody started growing their own stuff.
Let's talk about that.
And then let's
talk about that. Then
possible.
it becomes very much easy and impossible. Why do you think people don't learn enough about this, and why people aren't eager to start doing this themselves?
Because we're in a society.
Aren't there also some laws that prevent people from fucking collecting rainwater or growing shit in their own yard? Aren't there laws?
There is, but you don't even need a yard anymore. I mean, I had a grow box.
Yeah.
And it was like a fucking safe, and it was a grow box, and I had basils and tomatoes, and you know, it's just.
But why do you think it's illegal in some places to collect your own rainwater or to grow your own shit? Why do you think that shit like that is illegal?
Because it's all a fucking system, man. It's just a profitable system.
It's a system. Yeah.
That's just trying to manipulate and control everything. I read an article, I don't know, a few years ago. This guy bought a piece of land next to a river, had a trailer, solar panels, was off grid on his land. Yeah. They fucking came to him, police. They're like, you can't do this. The electric companies are like, if you don't fucking put in power cables and blah, 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 and if you don't run this. And he was, to top it off, like I said, he was a veteran. He was a fucking veteran. He's like, this is bullshit, but he can't live off the grid on his property.
Yo.
What the fuck is going on?
And the way that, the system really insults people's intelligences and how people allow it is fucking insane. It happens all the time. Give an example.
I agree with what you're saying, but how, give an example.
Oh, man. What's a good example?
Because what I think of is when you do something that supposedly is, not right or illegal, but it's not illegal. It's just the cops are kind of bullying, or the city's bullying. We kind of lay down and don't fight for what's right. Because we're like, I'm not going to fight the whole system. It's impossible. Like something like that is what you're saying?
Something like that, but I feel like it also goes even deeper to, big world events, shit that happens, world events, elections, presidencies, miscountings of votes, and, natural disasters and shit that happened. And
that's one thing I liked